Just being a couple of minutes later, I was trying to add a group to my live stream, which probably wasn't a good idea to try and do that at the very last minute when I was supposed to be on. But, you know, you think about these things at the last minute and think, oh, I'll give that a go. And as with all computer things, it never ends up being that easy. Anyway, I'll come back and try and do it later. I just wanted to send this stream over to my card making group just so I didn't have to share it there later. But I can see there's a fair few jumping on this morning, which is great. So jump in, tell me, tell me where you're watching from, and if it's your first time, let me know as well. Once I get crafting, I tend to not come back to the comments very often, but I will pop on and look at them afterwards. So I can see Vicky and Barb. Good morning, guys. Hope you're all well. Okay, so a couple of things. This is the card, or similar to the card that we're going to be doing today. It uses the Wonderful World SaleABration freebie bundle. And I know I don't usually start using these upcoming items too early, just because I don't want to frustrate you guys that you can't get them, but SaleABration starts next Friday, so I thought it was close enough to the time that I could give these a little bit of a go for you. But as you'll see as I go through the card, even if you haven't got this Wonderful World bundle, you could do this with any floral design that you want. It's a fairly sort of standard sort of, floral card. Anyway, so when SaleABration comes around for all of us, you spend $180 Australian and you can choose this bundle for free. So the bundle is the stamp set, and these flowers are really cute. I didn't know that I would like them too much until I actually saw them stamped. So they're really, really nice. But the star of the show, as far as I'm concerned, is this beautiful paper. So this one here is my favourite. I think I mentioned that when I first had my unboxing before. So this was, yes, I think I'm going to be buying multiple packs just for this particular paper. Unfortunately, you could have to buy them together, or fortunately. So it could be that I end up buying lots and lots and lots of bundles of it, keeping the paper and giving the stamp set away. And I'm using this one here as the contrasting paper. So they've both got the Orchid Oasis sort of colours there. And yeah, so that's quite nice on the back. You could probably fussy cut those flowers without too much trouble. They're nice and big. There's lots of other designs in there, and I'm sure I will probably visit them over the next couple of months as time goes by. So, but as I say, this time round, we're using those two colours there. Apologies if the colours are a bit weird in my craft room today. It's quite dark outside. I was going to say it's very dark, and it was very dark like about half an hour ago, but it seems the sun's coming out. But I have my overhead light on. Well, I did. I might turn it off now, and that sometimes lets the colours go a little bit more natural. We'll see how we go. But anyway, take my word for it, they have Orchid Oasis tones to them. Okay, so as I say, I'm going to make this card or something very similar. It's going to have the same flowers. I didn't like, once I'd done this card, I decided I didn't like this yellow flower here, so I'm swapping the colour for that. And I'm actually going to use one of the break my first rule of going live, rather than use this little backing circle from the Peaceful Moments die set. I'm actually going to use a doily that has actually retired, but I think most of us who craft for a while probably have a store of doilies somewhere in our craft stack. So that's what I'm popping out behind the flowers in this case instead. It's called a diagonal pocket card. Strictly speaking, it's just a diagonal triangle, or it's a right angled triangle there sitting on the front there. It makes it look like a pocket with all our little flowers coming out, but it's actually stuck down. So I suppose you could have you could be clever with it, maybe put a bookmark or something in there instead. Actually, I might try that. That sounds like a good idea. I've given myself an idea. I like that. Anyway, so there we are. So I'm going to make a few changes, but this is fundamentally the card we're going to make. Okay, so what I might do first is actually stamp those flowers, because as you can see, each of the flowers are just one stamp. There's no separate stamp for stems, and there's no separate stamp for flowers. Also, there's a couple there. But what I'm actually going to do is use my Stamparatus and I'm going to use some daubers, and I'm going to actually stamp them in their separate colours, and just show you how easy your Stamparatus makes that, which could be quite a complicated process. So I've got my daubers. Forgive them, they're all a bit dirty, but they all have their specific colours. And speaking of colours, the colours I'm using, the nice big flower is going to be Orchid Oasis, which is our main colour here. Some of the foliage is going to be Mossy Meadow. The sort of rose is in Rich Raspberry. I think the rose has Pear Pizzazz stems and leaves, and that other lily that I said I didn't really like in the yellow, I'm going to do it in polished pink. So that's the 5 colours that we're using today. I'm just going to do one flower at a time. I'm not getting too ambitious and doing 2 flowers at a time, but I'm just going to do one at a time to show you how we go. So I'm going to start with the blue, and I'm going to start with the blue here. My mind wants to say that's a cornflower, but I'm not quite sure. So if anyone knows what that sort of looks like on that, it might be a bit easier once I've got it stamped. Pop it into the comments if you're a little bit more plant aware than me. Probably not a good job to be doing myself if I have no idea what flowers are. So I'm just going to grab my dauber, and I'm just going to daub, obviously with a dauber, the areas of each of these stamps that I want in the particular colours. And because my Stamparatus keeps them all beautifully stable and in one spot, I can come back in and out numerous times. So whatever stamping platform you use, I've had a couple over my time. I do find the Stamparatus is a good one because you've got, I haven't got both plates on at the moment, you can come in from 2 angles. So you can come in with, say, this one on the left, and then there's a series of hinges at the bottom with a second plate, so you can come in from the bottom with some more. And I've been a little bit slack there and got some blue where I shouldn't, but anyway, that's all right. So that's our Orchid Oasis. That's a lovely sort of deep, well, not deep, but sort of a purpley colour. With this one, I'm going to go dark stems. I'm going to go Mossy Meadow, probably just as well because I've sort of gone over a bit there where I shouldn't. So I've got my Mossy Meadow and my green dauber. I'm just going to pop. Can you see what I'm doing yet? Just couldn't tell whether I was off the screen or not. I'm going to daub the areas in Mossy Meadow. And the good thing with doing it on my Stamparatus, if I have, like I've done there, I know I've gone over where the leaves are, I can just bring a wipe in and just give it a little wipe off, a little bit of a tidy, because I know I've gone a little bit crazy on a couple of spots where I didn't want the green, and then I went a bit crazy actually taking it off too much off. So there we are. So that's our Mossy Meadow, fingers crossed. Yep, that worked out well. So you can see, I'll bring it a little bit closer. You can see that I've got my green where I wanted my green, and my blue where I wanted my purple, where I wanted my purple. So let's do the other 2 flowers. I've cut them all on there at once. I didn't think it was worth bringing them on and off. Just give that a bit of a clean off. I always clean my stamps after with my stamp cleaner, but I'll just use a little non-fragrance wipe just while we're at it together today. I might do the rose next, which is down here. So I've got a dauber for that sort of colour. This is my Rich Raspberry. This one's a wee bit easier because the leaves and the flowers are fairly well separated. So as you can see just from that blue, when I bring it a little bit closer again, this is one of our distinctive stamps where you can get light and dark with just one pass of the stamp set. So I don't know how they do that. They're very, very clever. I'm sure there must be a video somewhere where they show us, but you know, it just works. So that's the Rich Raspberry head of our rose. As I said, with this one I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz for its leaves and stems. Still using the old stamp pad for my Pear Pizzazz, and a few of my inks actually. They last really, really well, the old style. Not saying that the new ones aren't good as well, but you can't beat, sometimes you just can't beat the old. A little bit there where it shouldn't be. Okay, so we'll bring that in. Now I may need a couple of passes on the pear pizzazz. Oh no, that's pretty good. Okay, so we've got our little rose there. Okay, so that's the pear pizzazz, and then as I say, I'm going to bring in the polished pink for this lily here. I'm assuming that's a lily. Iris, it might be an iris actually. Anyway, whatever it is, it's cute. Okay, so polished pink, and I don't even know whether, oh, irises are predominantly blue. Yeah, I thought so, but we're going pink. I've created my own flower. So this one's a little bit trickier again because it's got some of the the leaves sort of coming in and out of the flower itself. So I'll just bring in, give a little. It's not going to matter too much because I will actually go over. This will be, I'll give this one mossy meadow leaves, and I can make them quite dark. Yep, that's okay. So that's that. Back to my dark green dauber and my mossy meadow. And anyone who hates the dreaded F word, the fussy cutting, you should probably look away. Well, you would have to look away now because there is a bit of fussy cutting in this. Just trying to not go too far up there. But I've taken pity on you and have created a set already fussy cut. So you don't have to worry. Oh, have to be careful over there. I've got green ink where I shouldn't. I've put these quite close together just so that you can see them all. Obviously, if you wanted to be a bit more careful than me, you could probably stamp them separately. But I just had them all on there, so I thought I'd go for it. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm happy with that. Put a little bit more on this one. There we are. So that's our slightly mutant hybrid iris that's pink. Anyway, all good. There you go. So that's the 3 flowers I'm going to be using on this particular card. There we are. And so, as I say, the daubers make it a bit easier, and the Stamparatus makes it definitely nice and easy to get those colours separated. So, as I say, I do have some already fussy cut. There are no dies with this one, sadly. But if you've got one of those miraculous, what are they, scan and cut machines, or a nice pair of scissors, you can always turn that over just in case. You can always cut them out. But I have actually, as I say, taken pity on you, and here are some that I prepared earlier. I'll just get rid of all that ink. Okay, so there we are. So when I say fussy cut, I haven't been that fussy. I haven't been that over the top with them. I've left a fair bit of white, and especially on this one, I've sort of skirted around those little pointy bits, so you can really go as precise and as fussy as you want, or as unfussy as you want, especially because I'm going to be backing it with a white doily, so you're going to see the white through the white. It's just white on white, so that's not too much of a problem. So anyway, I'm going to keep these precious things aside just so I don't lose them and have to do them all over again. Okay, so I'm going to use an Orchid Oasis card base. This is a standard size card base for me, half an A4 or just under half an A4 piece of cardstock in Australian measurements, metric measurements. So it's 8 1/4 and she says reverting back to inches anyway, 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm wondering whether that actually looks more blue than purple, but trust me, it's a lovely shade of purple or mauve. So I've got my card base there. I then have a piece of this lovely designer series paper here, and that's 1/4 inch smaller. So there's a fairly large border there. I might actually just put that on. So that's our backing design. And I tried to take the colours for the particular flowers straight from the designer series paper. So there's our big, well, here's our big one here. And so that's in a purple. That's in this little rose is in our rich raspberry. And my thinking towards the, well, it should have been that one actually. Now look at the iris there, but there probably would have been too much of the one colour if I'd stuck with the purple and the blue again. But anyway. Glue's decided to die, so I'm just going to pop this straight on to the card base. No ribbon to worry about with this one, so I haven't mucked it up already by forgetting to put the ribbon in, which I usually do, as you guys know. Here we are. That's lovely paper, that. Okay, so now we're going to make our sort of diagonal pocket. So to make the pocket, and I've probably wasted a bit of paper here, I've got another rectangle of the Orchid Oasis. And this rectangle is exactly the same size. You'll see if I lay it over, exactly the same size as our designer series paper. So it would be 5 1/4 by 3 7/8. So it's exactly the same size as that paper. So what we're going to do is grab that and our trimmer, grab that and our trimmer, and I'm going to cut the diagonal corner. So the paper's going to go, and I'll get it so that the paper's going to go this way. So I want the corner to start down here in this bottom right hand corner exactly, and then go up to about sort of here, sort of like 2/3 the way up that particular piece of cardstock. So just mark that with my fingernail. No, precision cutting here. I've just sort of gone, what's that? Just under 4 inches up the left hand side, and I'm going to cut the diagonal that way. Okay, so there we are. My trim blade needs changing. So that sits just like that on our card. Now, the piece of designer series paper that I want to match that with has been cut another 1/4 inch smaller. So it would be, well, basically it would be 5 inches by 3 7/8, 3 5/8. So it again sits with the same size border left and right. So I find the easiest way, rather than trying to work out, how far up I need to do that, I find it easier to actually just pop it in place. So it's exactly where I want it. And bring in something you can mark with, or a pencil or something. Just mark it where you want it on that angle there. And then I'll bring my trimmer back. So rather than say go up, 3 1/2 inches or something, just basically do it by feel almost. So I'll line up that little mark. So from the corner to the mark. And that gives us a piece of designer series paper that fits pretty well. Now, I haven't done this time, but if I then take the pieces that we've just got rid of, so that's the piece we took off and that's the piece we took off there, you can see that the sort of mirror images of the two, what we've got left from cutting, fits each other. So I could cut across there and I'd have another card. You've got another piece that's perfect for a card. So you can probably save the waste by making 2 of these rather than just the one when you make them. So I'll just pop my trimmer. My trimming blade just fell off. It's telling me it's time for it to be swapped by falling off. It sacrificed itself. Okay, so I'm going to make our little diagonal pocket. I'm just going to glue that on there. Now, line that up a bit. Gone a bit funny there. I popped that the wrong way. No, that's all right. So my angles are a bit weird. Yeah. So that's our little diagonal pocket there that's going to go there. Now, you guys know me that probably someone who's very, very clever could pop that in there and think, oh yeah, and I'm going to layer all that up and then bring that on top and glue it. And you guys know that that's not me. I need to see things and play with them in place. So what I'm going to do is actually, in a way, make this an actual pocket so I can slip everything underneath. Sorry. So rather than gluing that in last, which would be the actual order, once I've got all the other bits and bobs in place, I'm actually just going to make it like a pocket so that I can slip all the pieces in and underneath and make sure I like them before I sort of permanently put it in place. Here we are. So we've got our little pocket in place there now anyway. And as I say, this one is truly a pocket. So now I'm going to be able to slip all my flowers and things underneath and make sure that I like where they are before I ruin it. Okay, so that's my little doily. You probably recognise these. They're from when Misty Moonlight was with us last year. So I'm going to use that, but I'm going to not rather use the blue side. I'm going to use the white side. So I'm going to pop that in under there, and it's a nice little backing for our flowers when we bring them in. Okay, another couple of things that I have. These are in Mossy Meadow. These are the top parts, and I've used this die set a few times already. The delicate edges. There is the one that looks like a weedy, grassy sort of thing. I've cut, and up against my hands, it doesn't really look too good. I've cut them from Mossy Meadow, and I knew that I only wanted the top half, so I haven't bothered cutting the bottom half. I've just sort of got the top half of that, because I knew the whole thing would be too long. So I'm going to pop those underneath and to give that one's going to be too long anyway, I think, just to give our flowers a little bit of foliage in the background. I might not do that just yet. I'm going to pop our doily in because I'm pretty sure I know where I want that. Just sort of looks like it's popping out of our pocket. There we are. Unfortunately, that does cover a fair bit of our beautiful designer series paper, but anyway, it's all good. Okay, so then we'll bring in our little fussy cut flowers. So I'm going to pop the big tall one out the back. So it sort of forms the back of the bouquet. I'm going to pop that one in there. I might do that now. Actually, bring that in first. Okay, so we've got that one there. And before that dries too much, I'll bring my foliage in. Okay. Now the little rose is going to be up sort of on the left-hand side, up here. And then I'm going to bring the little iris towards the bottom side. Just here. And I might give him some little leaves behind him. I think I've cut even too much of that foliage there. I don't want all that. I'll chop that down a bit. Just like that there. So, yep, I'm happy with that. So I'll just bring them out. Okay. So there we have a little pocket with a pretty bouquet of flowers sort of popping out from underneath it, which is really nice. I like that. There we are. Okay. Okay, I should watch my comments. That's okay, cool. All right, so there we go. So we've got that. Now, sentiment-wise, I've got a small, skinny, stitched rectangle here, and as you can see with the stamp set, it comes with no sentiments. So I've reverted back to form, and I'm using my art gallery dies. I think on my original I used Best Wishes, so I might stick with that. I think it's a I'm thinking of you. I think this one might be a I'm thinking of you card. If I can find my I'm thinking of you. There it is. It's all slipped around in the pack. Okay, so I'll grab my block. I'm thinking of you. I'll try and line that up with my grid paper underneath, so it's nice and straight. That's it. Now, the sentiment I'm going to do in my, what did I decide? In my Orchid Oasis, just to colour that theme through. Perfect. Just like it was made for it. And I'm going to put that on some dimensionals just for a bit of height. Now, I did this before and realised that you've already got a fair bit of height happening here. So actually what I did, I put dimensionals all the way through and then realised that it was sort of a bit, because this part here is lower than the bulk of this triangle pocket. So what I thought was I would put, if I'm really keen on the dimensional idea, I'll pop a single dimensional on that end, and I will double dimension this end, just so that brings the height up a wee bit. So I'll just double that and single that. And I think the center will be just a single. There we are. And just bring that in. Yep. So about there. Yep, that's at least straight now. It was all sort of lumpy before. It looked all up and down and higgledy-piggledy. You can probably see it better that way. Sort of at least it's in line with the rest of the card. Okay, so that's mostly done. I was going to bring in some little brushed bronze butterflies, if you can say that 7 times quickly. So I just love the little gold butterflies with the flowers. They just seem perfect. I'll put a big one there, little one here, and then another little one up here. There we are. Okay, so that's our card done. I really like that. It sort of does look like those little flowers are popping out of that pocket really, really nicely. Just anyway, as I say, you could put like a little, make it a gift as well as a card and have a little bookmark or something coming out of that pocket if you actually wanted to keep it as an actual pocket. That could work as well. Okay, so anyway, how long did we go? That seemed a lot shorter than it was. Oh, 30 minutes. Gosh, I'll let you go to the rest of your day, which is good. Okay, so there is my card for today. So as I say, this is the Wonderful World bundle. So that's the stamp set, and we've got the paper. You'll get that for free with a $180 purchase online from the 1st of July. So $180 gets you the paper. Oh, no, $180 spend gets you the paper and the stamp set free if that's what you choose to do. There's lots of other things that I will showcase to you as the next few weeks come and go. But I wanted to show you that one as well today because I love those flowers. Okay, one last thing for anyone who does before everyone goes, anyone who does my fun fold cards. I know I've got some people in my VIP club and lots of people who do them on a regular basis. I'm going to release it next week. This is my July class. So these are our 3 cards. We've got this really nice one. We've got a Father's Day coming in Australia in September, so you might like this one. It's a sort of masculine one using the He's the Man designer series paper and some stitched squares from our subtle, what is it called? I can't remember now. God, my favourite die set and I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, the stitched squares that I keep bringing out. So that's our first card there. Second one, this is to die for. This is the Splendid World bundle, and it's just all bling. I tell you, it's beautiful. So that's a reverse gatefold card. We're going to be doing that one. It's got some copper highlights there to match the beautiful paper, and you even get a trinket. So that one's really, really, really nice. So yeah, that's another card from my fun fold class. And the last one, I usually do one that highlights designer series paper, and this is this one. So this one's using the, and I should have remembered what it's called, Happy Prints, Beautiful Prints. Anyway, it's a paper from the current annual catalogue. I'll make sure I put more details on, and we've got this beautiful little thing from the Meadow Dies as well. So there we are. So that's my 3 cards for my fun fold class. If you're a member of the VIP club, they will roll up on your doorstep probably mid-July. Otherwise, check my Facebook page, and once I release it, you will see what the details are. But anyway, so yeah, that's my fun fold for July. And I have started working on my product class for July as well, which I release mid-July, but I will save that preview for another day. Okay, so thanks so much, guys, for watching me today. I hope you liked that one. Paper is to die for. I think I may be totally addicted to that paper, but anyway, so thanks very much for joining me. Have a great weekend, a great Friday night, great weekend, wherever you're watching from, and I will see you all again during the week. Okay,